Hello there, welcome back to another episode of Strife's Talking Points, where I try and make sense out of the world by giving you my opinion and trying to get comments and responses back from you to see where I stand, if I'm right, if I'm wrong, such and so forth. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about Joe Walsh. Joe Walsh, and I have to be very honest that I had never heard of this man, Joe Walsh 2020. I immediately hear Joe Walsh and I think of this guy who is a guitarist for the Eagles. Has a couple of songs I like. Fairly interesting guy. And I was very much let down that Joe Walsh is this guy. A one-term congressman from Illinois who is, depending on where you look and how you read the news, could be a lot of different things. We're going to jump into it. First story here from the BBC. BBC News. Joe Walsh, second Republican challenger to Trump in 2020 White House race. Sorry, second Republican challenges Trump 2020 Republican race. Here we go. Conservative radio show host and former lawmaker Joe Walsh has become the second man to challenge President Donald Trump for the Republican Party's 2020 White House nomination. Quote, "The country is sick of this guy's tantrum. He's a child," Mr. Walsh, 57, told ABC this week in what is seen as a long shot challenge. Now, President Trump made no immediate public comment to the news. You got a couple things here, which are Governor Bill Weld from Massachusetts threw himself in there earlier. However, I haven't heard anything about that. I'll look that up later. Both men now face an uphill battle to take over a Republican Party that has been refashioned in Mr. Trump's image. I don't see that as much. I see a lot of Republican pushback on Trump. I see it from all over the place. And a lot of the ideals that Trump is going for are the things the Democrats talked about, just 5 and 6 years ago. I mean, it is really strange to look back just a few years and see Trump knocking out Democratic talking points and infusing those with some conservative ideas and values, and just see him actually pulling the party slightly left of where they were a few years ago. No sitting president in the modern era has lost the race to be a nominee for their own party. Both Jimmy Carter in 1980 and George Sr. 1992 faced strong challenges that foreshadowed difficult presidential elections they would lose. Yeah. What else did Joe Walsh say? "I'm running because he's unfit. Somebody else needs to step up, and there needs to be an alternative," he told ABC. Mr. Walsh was elected to the House of Representatives from Illinois in 2010, riding the Tea Party wave. Tea Party movement is a conservative group within the Republican Party. Most people should know them. They talk about unlikely resistance hero. Wasn't too long ago that Joe Walsh was a flame-throwing Illinois congressman, best known for his invective targeting liberals in general and President Barack Obama in particular. When questioning the Democratic president's birthplace, he sounded a bit like Donald Trump, in fact. Don't know if you know this, there were a lot of people going on about President Obama in the birther conspiracy. It was a bunch of load of crap. It got some push on right-wing news outlets, but I think most Americans knew it was trash. They got his birth certificate, anyway. Garbage. Now Mr. Trump is a target of Walsh's sharp words, and he's matching up his rhetoric with action. And he said the president is demeaning his office, and betraying conservative principles. Congressman turned radio host makes an unlikely hero for the Never Trump Republicans and the left-wing resistance. Essentially, what I get from this article, and a lot of these articles, I'll go ahead and tell you I've read a few, is that if someone unseats Trump, they will lose some votes, and they're not going to receive any of these left-wing resistance votes. Let's face it, the left, as you can see from a lot of stuff, is kind of off the rails. I mean, a lot of the articles I've seen and a lot of the stuff from the debates are basically saying Obama was a right-wing candidate. He was more of a Republican president than any of these current ones. You see him kind of pictured here, would be. It would take a cataclysmic shift for Mr. Walsh to offer a serious challenge to the president, whose support among Republican voters regularly approaches 90%. For Mr. Trump's opponents on the left and the right, however, it may be enough for his new opponent is a television and social media gladly that gives voice to their anger and gets under the president's skin. So there you go. What they're pushing. That article is from the BBC, CNN. CNN kind of pushes him as well. CNN, a conservative radio host and former Illinois rep, Joe Walsh, will challenge President Donald Trump for the Republican presidential nomination in 2020, he said on Sunday. Now we're going to skip down just a hair here. A history of controversy. Walsh, who was elected to Congress with support from the Tea Party movement, has a history of making controversial comments, including some about former President Barack Obama. They only give a couple of these. They kind of skip it. They talk about him being a long shot. However, he is Fox News, CBS, Daily Beast, Fox News, The Onion. CNN's the one article I just read. Business Insider are going over this. One of his more interesting statements is just coming up now. GOP Trump challenger responds to racist tweets. I think we're all a little bit racist. That's his quote. Mark Walsh. Whether I agree or disagree, I think everybody has their own ideas, their own opinions, and if you close off your mind, you'll be stuck in those, which is why I'm always for or against overall censorship. I think we need to let idiots speak so we can see who the stupid people are. And if you say something dumb, you should get pushback. You should know that what you said is dumb, and then you should be able to move forward with your life instead of being banned, blocked, attacked, assaulted. Shouldn't be that way. On Monday night, GOP presidential candidate and conservative radio host Joe Walsh continued his media apology tour. You can't apologize for things anymore. It doesn't work. When he sat down with CNN's John Brennan to respond to racist tweets from his past. The former Tea Party congressman from Illinois officially announced his run for president on Sunday on ABC's This Week. He spent most of the Monday responding to his history of controversial tweets. They include two of them here. I have the right to pray to whatever God I want to pray to. I have the right to call Obama a Muslim and to call Trump a thin-skinned egomaniac. I have the right to use an AR-15 to defend my family and my home. That's America. Get off my lawn. I will agree that he has the right to say all of those things. To say it's racist to call Haiti a s-hole is like saying it's racist to say Chicago has a violence problem. Haiti is a s-hole and is run by blacks. The violence in Chicago is all black on black. Those aren't racist statements. They're just facts. Now, pushback. Saying that it's all black on black is, one, untrue. A lot of it is black on black, but there is other violence in Chicago. And to say Haiti is an s-hole run by blacks, it's ran by the Haitian government. If you believe that race is why these things happen, then that is racist. So I would say that is racist. Should he be able to say it? Yes. Should I be able to read it and say, this guy's an idiot? Yes. Yes, I should. That's kind of how this works. Breaking news, Walsh Freedom told me he just lost his national radio show. Well, here's the thing. If you run a show and it is supported by advertising, by donation, or by advertisers, by syndication, and you make stupid comments like this, and they come out, and your base of support leaves, you lose your job. Should he be beaten down and forced to never have another job? No. However, I'll point out, I don't think this is racist because you can say what you want. I think this statement, these two statements here are inherently racist, overtly actually. But let's look more at Joel Walsh. Again, liberal site, going across here. Then we're going to the Washington Examiner. Definitely more right wing. Beheading journalists, the N-word, and racist Obama voters. Joe Walsh, long history of incendiary statements. I think where you get a difference between what Trump says and what Walsh says is, one, you jump through hoops to make it racist. Baltimore is a terrible rat-infested city. When you go to Baltimore and you see it's terrible and rat-infested, when you say Chicago is very violence-stricken, those are more or less factual statements. You can go to certain areas of any city, I'm sure, and find terrible things. And when you're using it to call out the direct leadership of that town, not by their race, but by actually who they are, those aren't inherently racist statements. Now, you can be a racist, like most people in the media are, and then make them overall racist statements. But because he's not actually attacking a particular race or directly attacking any group of people, it's not. That's my views. I'm a moderate. I'm in the middle. I would always say myself more center left. However, as I watch the left go crazy, I'm being forced more towards the middle over and over again. Anyway, my opinion on that. This guy. On November 8th, I'm voting for Trump. On November 9th, if Trump loses, I'm grabbing my musket. You in. Oh my God. Political revolt due to your candidate losing. On this, I would say if you don't understand how elections work, every 2 to 4 years there's elections. 2 years for for the Congress, 4 years for president. You know, we hold elections all the time in this country. Yeah. So if your candidate loses, you should do some work in the field yourself to try and ensure the next candidate wins. Now, going out and shooting people or grab your gun and armed revolt, no, shouldn't happen. Kind of see that with the extremes right now in different various cities, but you know, overall, the country isn't as violent as most people think it is. The long-time Chicago radio jock teased his presidential run earlier this month in New York Times op-ed before making it official in a media spree weekend. He is being encouraged by never Trump leaders such as Bill Kristol, despite Walsh claiming last year that Kristol's Twitter feed was like a continuous documentation of the impact of Trump derangement syndrome has on a person. TDS is real. Trump derangement syndrome is real. People see something the president says, immediately hate it, immediately jump to their own conclusions, and then go off the rails. Not everything Trump says is evil. Some of the stuff he says is stupid. Some of the stuff he says is okay. It's how it is. I believe the comments I've seen, the videos I've seen, is Trump's not that bad. Not as bad as most people point him out. Comment here, June 26, 2016, Joel Walsh. The single greatest act of racism in American history was the election of Barack Obama. People voted for him simply because he was black. Again, that is actually, I would say that is a racist statement. I voted for Barack Obama because who ran against him? Mitt Romney. Didn't like Mitt very much. Didn't like... who's the other guy? Can't remember, But yeah, I kind of laughed off the birther thing because according to history that I was told, was his mother was from Hawaii, or his family lived in Hawaii. His father was Kenyan. They met, they married. His father basically had nothing to do with him for his entire life, and he was raised in Hawaii. And per what I think of as citizenship, if you're born to an American citizen, you are an American citizen. I almost want to cut that dry. I mean, that's my moderate centrist views on this idea. Is good. God no Walsh says, I've apologized for that. Oh, Stephanopoulos brought this up in Walsh's claims that Obama was a secret Muslim, and if he asked if he really believed it, God no Walsh said, and I've apologized for that. If you apologize for something, they're just going to keep bringing it up over and over and over again. Walsh also repeatedly insisted Obama was a traitor. If I called Barack Obama a traitor, yes, I apologize. Again, apologize. Here we go, another tweet. Joel Walsh. Let's hope that when the Islamists next strike, they first behead the appeasing cowards at CNN, MSNBC, et al., who refused to show the cartoons. Yeah, this is yeah. How many fans would the Washington Dirty Mix have? How many Washington blank? 0. So every Washington Redskin fan is racist. Like Joe Walsh is crazy, and not crazy entertaining. He's just overall. Oh, and here's the big take. I want to kind of end on this. Joe Walsh explains his support to armed toddlers on Who is America. For those of you who don't know, Who is America was a Sacha Baron Cohen. It's over here. You see it here. Sacha Baron Cohen, a British comedian, provocateur, who I can't believe has not been disowned yet, because anytime people do things that are outrageous, they get attacked. However, because he's mostly going after people to the right, I feel he's got a few more years left in him before they come at him directly. But yeah, the former congressman participated in a PSA for a fictional program that would teach preschoolers how to use firearms during the premiere of Sacha Baron Cohen's satire series. Now, he didn't know it was satire at the time. He was doing a PSA for something, and it went viral. It's called Kindergartens, where you would teach 4-year-olds how to shoot weapons. I believe these kids went up to an age of 8. There it is, 12. On Who is America, Walsh read the following script written by Cohen. The intensive 3-week kindergarten course introduces specially selected children from 12 to 4-year-olds, pistols, rifles, semi-automatic, and rudimentary knowledge of mortars. In less than a month, a first grader can become a first grenadier. Happy shooting, kids. Watch the clip below. Now, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna link this so you can see it. Again, this is nuts. These guys really, really need to think about what they're saying. Our political people need to stop. Oh, sorry. Last point here. Joe Walsh, born in 61. This is his Wikipedia stuff. If you don't know this, he only won one term. He's ran many times. He served from January 2011 through January 2013 after defeating 3-term incumbent Democratic Representative Melissa Bean by a margin of 291 votes in a surprising upset. While he received so he barely won. He received little Republican support in his bid against Bean. He was popular with the Tea Party movement, Walsh ran unsuccessfully for the House of Representatives in 96, Assembly General in 98. In the 1990s, he called himself a moderate Republican, but later became a conservative and a Tea Party activist. So this guy's ran for office multiple times. He's lost multiple times. In 2010, they noted on here, sorry, looking for it, that he had a negative, oh, there it is. In 2010, he had a negative net worth of $317,000, according to Center for Responsive Politics. Yeah, he is. He tried. This is an investment capital group which raised early stage investment capital for new and small businesses. However, he never made that much money, and has pointed to salaries of $30,000 to $40,000 a year in the past. Negative 300. He lost a lot of people's money. 96 he ran, he lost. 98 he ran, he lost. 2010. Again, he ran, he won. 2012 tenure. Yeah, this is a multiple time failed political person. Yeah, here it is. In an interview on This Week on August 25th, 2019, Walsh announced that he would enter the 2020 Republican primary race, challenging incumbent President Donald Trump. He stated that Trump's behavior in office motivated him to declare his candidacy. Walsh admitted that some of his past comments might have helped Trump, and that Trump made me reflect on some of the things I said in the past. This man is crazy. Following the announcement, that's my opinion. Following the announcement, Salem Radio Network said it canceled national distribution of his talk show on September 26th, and that Walsh will be free to sign up with a different syndicator if he chooses. Walsh commented, "No more radio show, but that's okay. I'm going to campaign full time." I can't tell you how many of these people that I look at, that I hear about, that I think the only reason they're entering into the political field, they're getting their names out there, is so one, they can raise their public profile. Two, they can write a book about what's happened. And all of that is simply so they can try and earn money. A lot of the Democratic contenders are, I don't know why they're up there. They are just going to make themselves sound better, to look better, to earn a living over time off of this. This man here is one of those too. I remember he may have known his show was being dropped by some of the stuff he said in the past and them not wanting to be affiliated with it. And now he gets free reign. He can go and campaign all he wants. He can try and drum up as much support. And I'll be real interested to look into his where his campaign money comes from. Is it people on the right who support him, or is it people on the left just trying to throw a cog in the Republican, the RNC? Anyway, those are my comments on this. That's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. Do you see this man as a contender? Do you think that my reading of some of his stuff is right? Does it matter? Do you think that in this new world where everything is racist, everything is sexist, everything is just the worst of the worst, that it matters that this guy said this stuff? That's my opinion. Those are my questions. Please remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. 23.5 minutes long. I'm going to have to shorten my videos. Thank you all for listening and have a great day.